us today Mr. Vasisht Patel, CEO of Sadhguru Engineering, MD of Sadhguru Infrastructure, Mr. Nitin Patel, ED and CFO of Sadhguru Engineering, and Mr. Varun Mehta, CFO of Sadhguru Infrastructure Services Limited, representing the company. I now request Mr. Patel to take us through the quarterly results and the outlook of the company. Post that, we shall begin with Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Amar bhai. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Sadhguru Group, I welcome all the participants and thank you for taking your valuable time for the earnings call for quarter ended 30th June 2020. I will first start with SEL financial numbers. Post that, Mr. Vasisht Patel will take you through status of various under construction projects and bidding details. And then after, Mr. Varun Mehta will take you through the SIPL financial numbers. Now, the income from operations for the quarter stood at rupees 229 crores. EBITDA for the quarter stood at rupees 19 crores. PBT for the quarter stood at loss of rupees 28.10 crores. PAT for the quarter stood at loss of 26.58 crores. EBITDA margin for the quarter stood at 8.46%. Now, the segment-wise revenue breakup for the quarter is already mentioned in the presentation. So the gross debt as on 30th June 2020 stood at rupees 1165 crores versus 1242 crores as on 31st March 2020. Loan given to SIPL stood at rupees 350 crores. Now, the order book as on 30th June 2020 stands at rupees 8,181 crores. Now, in SEL, we have yet to receive mobilization advance of rupees 355 crores from 4 projects, namely Kim Ankleshwar, Gadag Honali, and 2 Ahmedabad Dholera projects which we recently won. We expect to receive 95 crores in current month and rupees 260 crores in Q3. Now, the breakup of debtors as on 31st March 2020, I would like to give the breakup of the debtors which was outstanding on 31st March. See, it is I am taking you through the segment-wise as well as the basically the business segment-wise actually. So first in HAM projects, the trade receivables excluding GST and price escalation was 306.45 crores. Price escalation outstanding as on 31st March was 217.55 crores. And GST receivable was 98.50 crores. And this is the excluding of the 2 more projects. Basically, the 2 main projects where the largest exposure is there, that is the Jodhpur Ring Road, where the outstanding amount was 158.01 crore, and the Kim Ankleshwar, the outstanding was 158.79 crore. So in these 2 projects, the work has been started, but disbursement was not yet taken place actually. So that's why the outstanding has moved up in these 2 projects. Now coming to this is in the HAM segment. In EPC projects, the outstanding basically receivable is around 380.63 crores. In irrigation segment, total outstanding is 196.91 crore. Mining sector, the outstanding was 41.29 crores. And all other basically projects which has already been completed and where basically the final bill or the maintenance kind of activity at SEL level, where basically these activities under process. So these all put together was 175.63 crores. So this is the breakup of the receivables as on 31st March. So total put together which was outstanding was 1,743 crores. Now coming to the merger of both the companies, the BSE and NSE has sent their observations to SEBI. Post confirmation from SEBI, we shall receive the final approval from both the exchanges. Also, I would like to give the update about the status of arbitration in various projects. In Dhule Polasket, where we have already received the arbitration award, which was outstanding was around 62 crores including the interest. The conciliation process with NHAI has taken place And finally, from the company perspective, we have agreed to basically take 45 crore rupees as against the outstanding of 62 crores. And we have agreed to waive the interest portion of this award amount, and which NHAI finally agreed, and they have taken up for the EC approval. We are expecting the same will be concluded within a couple of weeks, and we will receive this payment from NHAI. This is pertaining to Dhule Palasner. In Rohtak Panipat, the outstanding amount is 121 crore. The matter is pending at Delhi High Court, and most of all the hearing is completed. We are expecting basically the decision of the High Court, Honorable High Court, very soon. Apart from that, we had lodged a claim of 1190 crore pertaining to Rohtak Panipat over the alternate route, basically which is created by the Haryana state government, which is a clear deviation and a breach of the concession agreement. And because of that, we have faced a significant reduction in the revenue in Rohtak Panipat, and that claim has been lodged, and the arbitration panel has been formed, and the first hearing is scheduled on 7th of September, that is around 4 days from now. And there is a panel of three learned justices has been basically nominated, one from our side, one from NHAI side, and both the basically learned justices have appointed the presiding arbitrator. So this is basically has taken place. So we will update as and when basically what is the outcome of the same on a regular basis. So this is from my end. So with this now I will hand over to Mr. Vasisht Patel to discuss the operations of the business. Thank you very much everyone for listening to me.
Thank you, Nitin bhai. Good afternoon to all the participants, and thank you for taking your valuable time to attend the earning call. Post the lockdown, construction has resumed in all projects now. Currently, the labor and material availability is around 80% on sites. We expect to reach 100% from October onwards. And from October onwards, we are going to start the 3 EPC big projects like Gadag Hunali 980 crores EPC is there, Keam Ankleshwar 1125 crores EPC is there, and Dholera Ahmedabad, which we have recently won, is 1572 crores EPC cost, which we are going to start from November-December. So incremental turnover from these 3 EPC projects in Q3 is almost 300 to 325, which we are expecting. And from coming under the construction projects, as of now, the status is that Bhavnagar Talaja, we have received PCOD for 34 kilometers, effect from 20th February 2020. And now we are going to apply for the annuity in this coming week. Udaipur Bypass Project PCOD for 19.2 kilometers has been approved by NHAI with effect from 31st July 2020. We expect to receive PCOD certificate before end of the current quarter. Rampur Kathgodam Package 1, we expect to receive the PCOD for 32 kilometers before end of the current quarter. We expect to receive PCOD from October 2019. PRT Tiger Reserve Bangalore project, we are expecting our PCOD for 90 kilometers before the end of the Q3. Una Kodina project, we expect to receive PCOD for 24 kilometers before end of the Q3. Rampur Kathgodam Package 2, we expect PCOD for 40 kilometers before end of the quarter 4. Waranga Mangaon, we expect to receive PCOD before end of Q1 FY22. Jodhpur Ring Road, 24% work is already completed. In Keam Ankleshwar, 7% work is completed, and from October onwards, we are going to start in a full-fledged in Keam Ankleshwar. Regarding Lucknow Ring Road, we expect completion in Q3 of FY22. Gadag Hunali appointed date of the project has been received and work has been resumed in this quarter onwards. Mumbai Nagpur Package 5, 10% work has been completed so far and same has been resumed in this quarter post-lockdown. So you can see from above that we have already received PCOD in 2 HAM projects. One more HAM project is expected in current quarter. 2 more HAM projects shall achieve PCOD before Q3, and one more HAM project shall achieve PCOD before end of Q4. So all put together, we expect to receive PCOD for 6 HAM projects in the current financial year. On the bidding activity, NHAI has called bids for a 19 EPC project worth rupees 14,195 crores, for which bid submission date is before end of the September. NHAI also has called bids for 24 HAM projects worth rupees 21,000 crores, for which bids are to be submitted before end of the October. There are 2 road EPC projects worth rupees 1,652 crores, for which we have submitted the bids. Bids opening shall happen in next couple of weeks. In the metro segment, we have submitted bid for one project worth rupees 570 crores in Ahmedabad Metro on 1st July 2020. Bid opening shall happen in next couple of weeks. As already informed to Stock Exchange, we have been declared L1 in 2 road EPC projects worth rupees 1,572 crores between Ahmedabad to Dholera in the state of Gujarat. We expect to receive LOA within 10 days from now. As of now, land is available to the tune of 80%. We expect to commence construction of both these projects in Q3. With this, now I will hand over to Mr. Varun Mehta to discuss the financial numbers of SIPL and updates on stake sale transaction. Thank you very much everyone for listening to me.
Thank you, Varesh sir, for giving useful updates. Good afternoon to all the participants, and thank you for taking a valuable time to attend the Q1 FY21 earnings call. In standalone business at the SIPL level, revenue from operations stood at around rupees 48.9 crores. Finance cost has been reduced to almost half in Q1 of FY21 as compared to YOY or as compared to Q&Q also. That stood at rupees 6.51 crores. Consolidated numbers of SIPL are not comparable because of the completion of the stake sale transaction in 8 operational SPVs during Q4 of FY20. Toll collection for the month of August 2020 in 4 operational projects has reached 97% of toll revenue in August 2019. We expect to see YOY growth in toll revenue from the month of October 2020, especially when the festival season starts around that point of time. If we include the 6 toll assets sold to an InfraVid Trust, then the toll revenue of 10 projects for the month of August 2020 has reached 94% of toll revenue in August 2019. SIPL has a current order book of around rupees 160 crores towards the maintenance and advisory related of 9 HAM projects, which is to be executed over a period of next 18 months. Revenue of 34 crores have been booked in this quarter from this particular order book. SIPL has an outstanding order book of around 4,000 crores towards maintenance from the 9 assets which were sold to an InfraVid Trust. Revenue has started to flow from this particular activity. Revenue of 13 crores have been booked in this particular quarter. Consolidated debt of operational SPVs as on 30th June 2020 stood at rupees 3,103 crores, this is including Ahmedabad Ring Road. Consolidated debt as on 30th June 2020 for under construction SPVs stood at 2,099 crores, and standalone debt is around rupees 800 crores. This includes loans from SEL of rupees 350 crores. In HAM assets, all put together, we have increased an equity of rupees 705 crores till date, and balance equity of rupees 308 crores is to be increased in the next couple of years. Now coming to the status of the stake sale deal, we have discussed the entire transaction in the last con call. So as far as the balance transaction is concerned, so we are yet to receive rupees 73 crores from the 8 assets. So we expect that to receive partly in this month and partly in next month. In relation to the last asset, which is Ahmedabad Ring Road, so where the valuation of the asset is rupees 267 crores as per the SPA. So the government of Gujarat has given the green signal to ORDA to provide the approval. ORDA has received approval from 2-member board, and we expect to receive the approval from ORDA, who is the client for this particular project, before the end of the current month. In fact, we are hopeful in the next couple of weeks, probably we should get the approval. Approval from 5 lenders has been received in this project. There is one lender where the approval we are expecting to receive post ORDA provides the approval.
So in all put together, rupees 73 crores and rupees 267. So in all around 340 crores is yet to be received from in Infravid in relation to the stake sale transaction, which we are expecting partly in this month and partly in Q3. So by end of Q3, we should be receiving the entire money. So I think this is the update in relation to SIPL and in relation to SEL. Now with this, we complete our opening remarks. Thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you. Please start the Q&A session.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from IDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir, and thank you for the detailed update. So my first question is, sir, on the EPC execution for Q2, Q3, and Q4. So the presentation mentioned about 60 to 70% of pre-COVID levels in the Q2. So what does it translate into EPC terms? And does it mean 60-70% of the Q4 run rate, or are we talking about somewhere around closer of 600 to 700 crore normal run rate which we were doing earlier? And can we expect Q3 to be 800 crore kind of top line, given that we have 3 or 4 projects which are starting to contribute from October onwards?
Okay, fine. See, the presentation which we have mentioned, we would like to convey that in the Q2, we should be basically achieving the top line to the tune of closer to around 400 crores or actually, depending, because as we have during last con call also we have mentioned that the run rate for the execution is going on around say 4 to 4.5 crore a day actually. So obviously, and because there are 2 ways. One is the laborers have started coming back, as Mr. Vasisht Patel has mentioned that currently 80% level we have reached, but that has reached basically over the period itself, that is July and August put together. And now this month we are expecting to reach at almost closer to 100%, but the monsoon intensity has also played the significant role, because the number of projects where the monsoon is very heavy, and because of the construction pace has also been slowed down. But in Q3, as we have mentioned that we are basically targeting to reach to the per day, as we have got basically the run rate of almost closer to 9 to 10 crore rupees. So that will basically bring us almost at a normal level what we are seeing that. And then after in Q4 also that will come. That's why the incremental turnover from these 3 projects is also going to add over and above what we are going to achieve into the Q2. So that is basically from our side towards your basically question.
Understood, sir. Secondly, sir, do you expect any kind of distribution from the InvIT for FY21 given the COVID situation?
See, already what we have been conveyed that in the month of basically end of the October they are going to basically conclude, and the distribution is going to take place for this year in the month of November. So obviously we are expecting some basically the distribution from the trust.
Do you expect it to be lower than the 70-80 crore which we were expecting earlier for FY21 especially?
Practically, you see what we are seeing that if it is being done in the November, because in the May that there was no distribution, so we are expecting it will be little higher than basically what should be the half yearly basically, right? Because we assume that this November distribution will be the one only in this entire year actually. So then after the next distribution will come probably in the month of April or May next year.
Okay, got it. Last questions are on our HAM portfolio. have you started the discussion with the potential investors, and where are we?
Yeah, so we have started the discussion with the investors because as mentioned in the opening remarks that the projects are at a very advanced stage, and in fact we have started receiving the PCOD for certain of the projects, and by the financial year end probably the 6 of the portfolio should see the PCOD. So the discussion right now is at an initial stage, but yeah, we are seeing a very good interest basically for the portfolio.
Understood, sir. Thank you, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. We would request the participants to please press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Parikshit Kandpal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Nitin bhai, Vashisht bhai, thanks for the very detailed commentary again. So my question was, sir, we already at SIPL level, we are at 5,200 odd crores of debt, and there is a pending equity requirement of 308 crores. So against this pending equity requirement, how much will be the total receivable debt which will come in when all these projects get completed and COD is achieved?
Yeah, see the balance debt from the 9 assets is around 2,000 crores, which is pending.
2,000 crores will get added. And your ARIL debt, how much of the ARIL debt will go in?
ARIL debt is 130 crores.
230 crores. So maybe 2 years down the line, so we'll have a peak debt of almost close to 7,000 odd crores.
Yeah, I mean actually it all depends on exactly how many new projects we add and probably how many assets we sell.
Yeah.
So I think it's a function of that.
But with the existing assets, with 7,000 is like
Yes.
the number.
Yes.
Okay. So my second question was now on this debt, out of this, so 5,200 crores of debt. So 2,000 crores is from the 2,100 is from the under construction, and you said balance is from the other assets. So this, what is the breakup of this 3,100 crores debt in terms of bank debt and the NCDs?
So the 3,100 crores is from the 4 operational SPVs. So all these 4 operational SPVs have only bank debt only. There is no NCDs in this.
Okay, so entirely it's all bank debt.
Right.
Okay. Varun bhai, what is the total loss funding done till now in this financial year for the assets? Yeah.
See, in this financial year, obviously because Rohtak Panipat and Rohtak SR we are to support, but obviously we have taken moratorium basically in both the SPVs. So in this financially, as of now, there has been no support given by SIPL to the SPV.
And for the full year, what is the number we are looking at?
Full year, we are looking at numbers somewhere around between around 55 to 60 crores.
There's a good reduction there. Yes. Okay, and just last thing on the execution, sir, I think last call you had said that, Nitin bhai, you said that we will be, from the start of September, we'll start billing almost 10 crores per day kind of run rate. So where are we now, and when do we expect this number to start reflecting?
See, as we have basically mentioned the run rate, because we have already started the construction activity in the KIM Ankleshwar. Gadag Honali has already been started, but it is obviously in the Gadag Honali, it is the initial stage. KIM, almost all the fronts has been basically started executing. So we are expecting the incremental revenue, as Vashisht bhai has told, that what we were achieving basically in the Q4 and basically in Q2, what we are mentioning, that at least 300 to 325 crore rupees from these 3 projects. Plus, because when the monsoon intensity will go down, then obviously the other under construction projects will also have basically the full-time execution and full-time revenue will come. So now we are coming back, as we have mentioned, that the real complete focus is coming towards the EPC, and which is evident from the new projects what company has won. Also the bidding which we have basically made, also it is in the EPC. And further focus is also towards the same, that how to basically build up the EPC business and how to basically go towards again the run rate of the 10 crores per day. But from October onwards, basically we have mentioned that we will be easily achieving that basically target.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. That's all from my side. I'll join in the queue again. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vibhor Singhal from Phillip Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Thanks for taking my question. So just 2 questions from my side. So the debtors that were the account receivable, which were at around 1,900 crores at the end of March the breakup of which that you had given, what would they be at the end of Q1?
What is end of the?
So Q1 के end में, so basically at the end of June, what would be the account receivable pending total?
Correct. See, by the end of the Q1, it has basically came down by another 140 crore rupees by the end of Q1. Even in Q2 also, basically between the month of July and August, we had almost basically get the collection almost to the tune of around 450 to 460 crore rupees so far actually. So September we have not yet included. So we are basically going to incremental collection as compared to the actual execution. That is in Q2 also.
Okay, so basically जो March end में receivables were at 1930 crores, they came down by around 140 crores, so करीब 1800 crores, 1800 crores is what they would be at.
It has already came down, and we are also seeing that eventually further it will basically further go down as the basically collection improves. As we have mentioned, we have given, that is the reason we have given the complete breakup. See, there are the various, particularly some of the price escalation component of the HAM that will take some little long time. But the moment we get the collection from Jodhpur Ring Road and Keam Ankleshwar, that itself is more than 300 crore rupees. So this will basically straightway basically reduce the receivable significantly and also they improve the cash flow immediately, whatever basically be required further actually. So this is a clear certified invoices of both the projects.
Sure, sir. And sir, so the second question is the 340 crores that we expect to be received from the InvIT transaction by the end of Q3. What will we be using that 340 crores? Will we use that to straightaway reduce the debt at SEL level, or will that get consumed in working capital or some other transaction that we are looking at?
Yes, see, out of that 340 crores, the plan is say between around 220 to 230 crores we will utilize to pay off the debt at SIPL and at the SEL level, and the balance portion will be utilized for the working capital.
Okay. Sure. Great. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for taking my questions. I will come back in the queue if I have anything more.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Deepak Poddar from Sapphire Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. So my first question revolves around your cash flows. Now, can you throw some light on overall cash inflows we expect to receive over next 1 year? Or from arbitration, whether it's Rohtak Panipat or others, or the funds stuck with the government, or from the sale of asset. So some light on that would be helpful.
See, fine. See, I would like to put the status and what action we have taken for speedy recovery of that money. First, as I have mentioned in Dhule Palasner, we have already basically concluded the conciliation process, and the matter is pending with the NHAI executive committee level. So I think within a couple of weeks, we are expecting to receive around 45 crore of the Dhule Palasner amount. Then after the Rohtak Panipat, almost outstanding is 121 crore. So as per and the matter has been challenged into the Delhi High Court by NHAI. So almost all the hearing is completed. So we expect that when the next hearing will take place, then after the matter will come for the judgment by the Honorable High Court, Delhi High Court. So when it is there, then we will be basically getting. So we expect the judgment should come before the end of Q3. So then after basically it may take another quarter or so basically for realizing this money from NHAI. Once basically some court jurisdiction decision is there, we can take it faster. With regard to Mumbai Nasik, the outstanding amount is almost 212 crore, including the accumulated interest thereon. So we are expecting to get at least part money, say 120 crore odd, basically against the bank guarantee. So we are in a discussion with a couple of banks to issue the bank guarantee. So eventually the money, when we are offering to the banks that the money which can come from the same, that we can use for the purpose of straightway reduction some of the facility in Sadbhav Engineering, because this money directly is going to come to SEL. So this is the status, and the way once we will get the approval from the bank, then immediately I think it will not take more than a couple of months basically to realize at least 120 crore what we are looking for. The remaining portion basically will take its own jurisdiction process, and it may take another basically 1.5 to 2 years also.
Yeah. So all in all, like this 3 projects, about close to about 400 to 500 crores cash inflow over next 1 year through this arbitration?
No. See, around we can say that around 270 odd crores basically we can look into 270 to 75 crore rupees.
275 crores. And what about the cash inflows you expect from the fund that is stuck with the government, or the sale of asset? You already mentioned about 340 crores, right? That is pending.
See, as I have mentioned that these 2 projects, one is Jodhpur Ring Road and Keam Ankleshwar. See, that is more than 300 crore is being stuck. So this money is straight away will come once the disbursement will start. So it will straight away, that means we are expecting that it should come within 1 or 2 months maximum. A couple of months. Then after the money towards the GST, yes, that is also basically we are expecting that NHAI should finalize, because earlier amount was higher, now it has came down, but slowly it is getting completed. So that will also come within the Q3. At least we can expect 70% collection from the same. And also we are in the process of realizing some amount almost around say 150 odd crores basically from the other EPC and the HAM as well as the stuff amount within by the end of Q3. So this remaining will continue basically in a process.
And in terms of any government inflows that you are expecting, like the one which is stuck basically?
See, government inflow, the larger amount is pending, basically lying with the irrigation department of the various, basically couple of states actually. So we are constantly following up, and once it will be through, so we can get the amount, because at least as I have mentioned, almost 196 crore is stuck into the irrigation projects. So that amount basically we are trying hard to get it back. So that we are hopeful to get this money at least around say 50 or 60% or basically within 2 to 3 months basically.
Okay, understood. So with all this cash inflows, like in next 12 months, will you be able to reduce your debt by let's say 1,000 or 1,000 crores kind of a number, or any other outlook that you want to share on the debt reduction side over next 1 year?
See, obviously, you can see that the process what company has adopted, the overall reduction of the debt. The first, basically, the significant transaction, the market transaction we have completed in the month of February, and then after almost more than 1,000 crore of the debt has been reduced. As Mr. Varun Bhai has mentioned that the another 300 crore we are going to reduce from the proceeds of the Ahmedabad Ring Road. And whatever basically the surplus after basically our working capital needs, which will be there, that will be obviously utilized for the reduction. And also, as I have mentioned that from the proceeds of Mumbai Nasik, if the bank guarantee is coming, we are basically discussing with the lender in the same direction that the amount will be utilized for reduction in the debt itself. So that will be also our endeavor, and the thinking process is very clear to bring it down basically slowly and by collecting the money which is lying within the system itself.
Thank you. Mr. Deepak Poddar, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions, as we have several participants waiting for their turn. Also, we would request the participants to please limit your questions to 2 per participant. The next question is from the line of Parvez Akhtar from Edelweiss Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi. Good evening, gentlemen. So a couple of questions from my side. First, what is the kind of order intake that we are looking for in FY21?
First, currently the bidding, obviously our priority is towards the EPC itself, but the way the bidding activity and the process we have lined up, and we are thinking to add at least another basically 3,000 to 3,500 crore new basically wings before the end of this year.
This is over and above the 1,500 crore that we have already received?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes. This is over and above 1,500 crore what we want.
So just needed a couple of data points. I missed the debt figure in SCL.
See, it is outstanding is 1,165 crore is the gross debt in SCL, which includes 350 crore of the loan given to SIPL.
So, and what would be the cash currently in SCL?
See, currently it is around 105 crore odd actually, which is there.
And sir, would it be possible to get the segment-wise revenue breakup for this quarter?
I think we have basically given into the presentation. If it has been missed out, then we can. I think it is not that we will provide you basically of the line Parvez bhai. Okay.
Sure.
I think it is not there in this. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jiten Rushi from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thanks for taking my question. Sir, what is the outstanding mobilization advances as on June?
Sorry to interrupt. Mr. Rushi, we would request you to please speak a little louder.
So what is the outstanding mobilization advances as on June 20?
See, outstanding is to the tune of almost around 270 odd crores actually.
And sir, we have received gross interest of around 407 million in the SEL. Adjusted for the interest from SIPL, sir, the numbers, there is a difference of around 3 crores. So can you just tell what is the difference? Because you have reported around 240 million as the net interest. If you add 137 million as the gross interest from SIPL, it comes to around 370 million. So there, and we have reported a gross interest of 406 million. So there is a gap of around 33 crores. So what is the gap, sir? Hello. Hello.
Interest from SIPL, I just let me recollect that interest from SIPL you have mentioned 13 odd crores, right?
Yeah, I mean 13 point something is there in the notes to account.
Right. Then what is the other basically you would like to, the difference of 3 crore, I could not basically understand how you would like to
from SIPL and the net interest reported in the book, if you add, is not matching with the gross interest number which has been mentioned in the notes to account, sir. There is a gap.
So that is basically the difference of the interest basically charged to the other SPV basically within the Sadbhav.
Okay. So basically, sir, what I see in the notes to accounts, we have mentioned interest paid, total interest paid amounting to 406 million, 406.7 million, right, sir? And we have, which is netted off the interest from SPV at 137 million, and the net interest reported in our books is around 239.7 million. So if you add 239, 240.
Yeah, Jiten, see, there is a typo in the notes to account number 4. So probably there is a typo basically as far as the gross interest is concerned.
Okay, got it. Okay, thanks. And one last question from my side, sir. What is the toll collection in the Rohtak Panipat Hisar, then Ahmedabad Ring Road and the Maharashtra border checkpost Q1?
Yeah, so this is one for Q1, right?
Q1, yeah, it's Q1.
Yeah, yes, one. Yeah, so for Ahmedabad Ring Road, the Q1 revenue was around 15.5 crores. For Maharashtra border checkpost, the Q1 revenue was 19.5 crores. For Rohtak Panipat, the Q1 revenue was 11.7 crores. And Rohtak Hisar, the Q1 revenue was around 10.2 crores.
And last question is on the tax rate and the bank limit. So tax rate guidance for this year, next year, and what is the bank limit and what is the utilization level at SEL level?
See, the full year, the tax rate in Sadbhav Engineering will be, obviously it is 30%, okay. But the MAT credit which is available, that is basically to the tune of, I think the net we are expecting that it should come around 23% for the full year.
Thank you. Jiten Rishi, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions, as we have several participants waiting for their turn. The next question is from the line of Siddharth Shah from MK Ventures. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, my first question is on the order book inflow guidance. We are, after the Ahmedabad project, we are at around 9,700 crores order book. So what is the expectation for the remaining of the year? How much order inflow we are expecting?
See, as you just mentioned that it is almost around 3,000 to 3,500 crore. We are basically expecting another new orders over and above 9,700, which is there now.
Sure. So in terms of execution, so you said that we'll be reaching something like 10 crores per day by October. So, sir, what would be the guidance for next year, full year revenues, if you can give a broad indication?
See, again, obviously, as if you see the next year, we are expecting to again come back to the almost level of around 3,300 to 3,500 crore level actually. Okay, depending upon the way the order is already, business is already there in the hand, and also the way we are planning to get the new orders, because the number of HAM projects are going to be completed. And another the new projects what we have won, and the three new, the large, basically the projects what Mr. Vashish Bhai has mentioned, almost 3,600 crore of the business which is going to start the execution from now. So this again basically will continue for next year itself. So almost around 3,000, between 3,300 to 3,500 we can give now.
So you mean to say that we will stabilize at 10 crores per day kind of execution run rate for next 18 months or something?
Once we will achieve this for the year Q3 and the Q4, then definitely, because we are saying the average, because if you see the monsoon will also come in the next year, so depending all put together, we are considering that we will come back to the basically the same numbers now.
Sure, sir. So, and last couple of quarters, the execution has been lower. So when we ramp up to 10 crores per day, you think there will be significant additional working capital requirement, or you'll be able to manage with the current limits?
See, with the current limits, it is okay. And as we have mentioned that the projects basically which we are, there is a EPC where we have going to start that, the new advances are also going to take place. Almost more than 355 crore is going to be added for the. Okay, so this will also play a role, and I think for carrying out this EPC is not required. And now almost, even if you see even we are almost nearing to completion of almost our equity requirement also into the HAM. Significant portion has already been completed.
Thank you. Mr. Siddharth Shah, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions. The next question is from the line of Ritwik Sheth from One Up Financial Consultants. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. So my question is on the receivables. Our current receivables is around 1,800 crore at SEL level. So 1 year down the line, what will be a comfortable run rate for that we would like to have on books, and assuming that we could do a 3,000 crores plus revenue in FY22. So what would be the company comfortable at the receivables? Hello.
See, if you see there are 2-3 components here I would like to mention. That is, one is the collection from the irrigation projects which are almost completed or nearing to completion. As I have mentioned, almost closer to 196 crore is outstanding. So that is the 50% of the same we are expecting to get almost as early as possible within 3 to 4 months that we are basically as of now. Second thing, as also I mentioned the 2 HAM projects, almost this more than 300 crore, which is outstanding because the disbursement has not yet taken place. So once it is taken place, it will again come down.
Okay.
The third thing, if you see that the collection from the GST angle, because that everything will be completed within the year's time. So the GST component almost around 98%, this will be over. So this will again come down. And the price escalation of the HAM. So our basically focus will be to realize this price escalation component. Almost 217 crores is outstanding as of now. So as and when we complete 3 or 4 projects, we will basically focus. One is either to as the monetization of the asset, that is one, which is already the process has been started. Or parallelly, we can look into the refinancing of the asset where we can basically take back this escalation money from the hybrid annuity project, this SPV itself. So this money will come back. So this way we can basically aim down. So this is a sum total of all this, but we are very much sure that within a year's time this amount will come down to a basically substantial extent. And the normal basically thing, this 4 is if we came out, then the things will be at a almost normal level.
Okay. So what is the GST, the angle that you're talking about? What is the quantum for the same?
It is 98 crore rupees as of now. Because of the change in law, the projects which we won before July 2017, there we are eligible to get the sum of the GST refund. So we have not yet received basically all the money. So the balance which is outstanding, that is being shown as a receivable from NHAI.
So if everything goes according to plan from these 4 things, then we could see our receivable dropping to around 1,100 crores in the next 12 to 18 months.
Not 1,000, but obviously we can see the reduction of almost around say 400 crore odd actually once we all these basically taken place, as you have mentioned that.
Thank you. Mr. Ritik Sheth, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions. We would request the participants to please limit the questions to 2 per participant. The next question is from the line of Prem Khurana from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for taking my question. So first question was with respect to Jodhpur Ring Road. I think last while you had given us a sense that the earlier lender has backed out. So I mean, have you been able to kind of rope in a new lender for the project, or we're still funding it from our pocket?
You have to see as of now. Yeah, Prem, as of now, basically we are funding it from the grant which we are getting from NHAI and also basically our equity which we have to infuse. But we are at an advanced stage basically for the tie-up with the lenders for this particular project.
Sure. So when you say, I mean, we are expecting to realize 150 is contingent upon the fact that we would get to have lender on board in the immediate future and they would start disbursing money at the earliest possible, right?
Yeah, I think it is depending on the grant also, because obviously how we can get the grant as an advance grant also from NHAI. So the 158 is also being paid from the grant, and obviously once we get the new lender on board, so I think then obviously the entire money will be received by SEL. And the good part obviously is that we have crossed the initial hurdle of the land acquisition and the issues as far as the approvals are concerned. So any new lender who is coming in, so probably we're really happy to see that the issues of land acquisition and those are basically passed. And so now as and when basically he will come on board, so probably the entire project is visible till the COD.
Sure. And so the second question was on our irrigation receivables. I think 190 odd crore rupees. But when if you could give us a sense as to how much of this is in regular course of business and how much of this is as if essentially wherein I mean you would have to go and sit across the table and negotiate with the client, because as I see it, I mean in the last FY20 entire year you did only around 84 odd crore rupees of revenues, and we have receivables of more than 190. So which essentially means when there are some receivables which have been due for more than 1 year. So are these disputed or these are retentions that you need to kind of realize? If you could help us understand the construct of this 190 crore, please.
Well, see, it is a breakup of basically 2-3 components. One is obviously because escalation component, some of the that has been hold. Second thing, the part money, basically they hold because of the certain land they have not yet given, and we have basically asked them to either basically conclude the contract or basically they release this actually. Third thing, obviously there is a couple of points because of the change in the design, and they had basically asked us to carry out the extra work as a change of scope which has been taken place. So this is also being included in the same. So these are the largely three, and some part small amount is towards the GST in the business irrigation also, because we are eligible to get the differential amount of the GST also in this.
So you expect 60% of this to come to you by this year and at least, and then remaining 40 is wherein you would have to put in some more effort. Sure.
Yes,
I have
yes.
some more.
So
I'll come back.
obviously, it will come in the because this is the total of almost around 6-7 projects all put together. This money is basically different format it is being hold there.
Sure. Sure, sir. Thank you. I have a few more. I'll come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Goyal from Enam Holdings. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Couple of questions. One on the margins front, how do you expect in the current year and next year, sir?
Mining front, you mean to say?
No, margins, overall margins, EBITDA margins for
The EBITDA basically in the current year, as we have mentioned, on XC, normally we are basically, we can say that even the HAM projects and EPC put together, average will be able to make between 12 to 12.5%. That is clearly achievable. Obviously, in mining also, it will be little, at least one or couple of basically basis point, 1 or 2 percentage higher. Irrigation, it is largely just on a way of the completion, so we don't expect that much margin, hardly maybe around 4-5% that. But on an average, we can say that we around say 12% or so we'll be able to achieve for the year and as well as next year also.
Okay. So basically, first 2 quarters, Q1 and Q2, we'll see a lower margin. So we expect that in Q3 and Q4 margins to be higher, and for the entire year we should be able to have 12.5% average margins. That is what you are referring to?
Q1 we are not basically, obviously, because that we have to discount. But Q2, Q3 and Q4 put together, we are basically we can say that the 12% will be achievable. That is not the case actually, right? Not an issue.
Okay. And on standalone debt, like at SEL we mentioned 1165, and at SIPL it is roughly 800 crores. So basically in March end we were at 1600 crores. So if I remove this 350 odd crores of common debt between these two companies, so debt is at same level on a standalone basis, and it has not come down despite we have a decent receivable inflows. So maybe if you can say by year end, what can we expect that on a merged entity at a standalone level, what kind of gross debt we can see and
First of all, basically once we conclude this Ahmedabad Ring Road transaction, 300 crore as we have mentioned, and over and above we are expecting that at least another 150 odd crore may further go down. Rest basically whatever collection and everything is there, that will be required for the purpose of the executing the basically all these projects itself actually.
So ideally, if as mentioned Varun by that 220 crores will be utilized for debt repayment. So this 1600 odd crores of standalone debt between both companies, it should go down by. I'm just asking what level can we see by March end, because you have claims receivables, but you will also have project execution ramp up also. So what can we expect this number to be roughly by year end?
See, now actually if I see that as I have mentioned that we are expecting to get it reduced by another say 450 odd crore actually as compared to what is there actually. as of now for both the companies put together. So in merged entity, basically, say in SEL, it is say 1165 crore it is there. And this SIPL, say for 450 crores, basically, if we take out that 350 crore, basically. Right. So out of that 450, we are expecting to get reduced in this year actually. Rest will basically be there actually.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish Shah from Centrum Broking. Please go ahead. Mr. Ashish Shah, your line is in talk mode. You can go ahead, please. We would request you to please unmute yourself if muted from the handset.
Hello?
Yes, sir, you can.
Yes, Ashish bhai.
Sorry. So, my first question is on the price escalations. We have, 218 crores. So, how do we structure our contracts between the SPV and the parent company? Because normally these price escalations would get funded either by adjustment of the project cost, and hence you get the higher grant amounts during construction. Also, probably the final project cost will get adjusted to this extent. So, I'm just actually a little unsure of why would the price escalations related to HAM projects be pending, and why would that take longer than the normal receivables?
Hello.
Yeah.
See, Ashish bhai.
Yes, sir.
First of all, obviously, price escalation which is being paid by the authority to the tune of 40% only, right? And 60% is getting accumulated. And it is basically will be added into the completion cost of the project, and then eventually the annuity will be paid on the completion cost with all this interest and repayment of everything will be paid over the period by the authority. But so far as EPC contract is concerned, the EPC contractor is basically the contract which has been given, that is inclusive of obviously there is the price, the fixed price plus the price escalation what authority actually basically gives. So this put together, the 40% has already been received. Remaining 60% component which is there, that is outstanding to be basically received from the HAM projects.
Right. So these are not part of the, TPC, not part of the debt tie-up that we have, and the.
No, that is not there actually. So that is additionally, because once project will be completed, then it will be added into the total project cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Ashish, basically, certain of the projects, what we have the arrangement is that the lenders will be able to disburse this particular 60% once the project achieves the COD. And so because of that, the amount will be outstanding till the time we don't have the COD. So as soon as we get the COD, so in certain of the projects we do have the debt tie-up, then the debt will be disbursed by the lenders accordingly.
Sure. Secondly, we haven't seen much movement in the mining order book. So over the last 12 months, we've probably done little under 200 crores of execution in mining. So what is the status there?
Focus basically, Ashish bhai, is toward the transportation business. That is why highway and metro we are basically putting the bid. Obviously, we will look for some of the large size irrigation project which is coming in a normal conventional project. Then we can look into. In mining, basically, as of now, we had the thought process is that whatever resources we are having, that we will continue to use, and according to that only we will put the bid. So currently the resources are engaged for the ongoing business. That's why we are not. And the new capex plan, basically, we are not looking for at least a couple of years from now actually. So that is why we are looking for the more into the highways and as well as this the irrigation segment. But obviously some good opportunity will come, then we will look into the same that if in mining also, because we had a decent qualification and also the experienced team with regard towards the execution of this project.
Sure, but what I wanted to actually know is that why the current order is not moving. I mean, over the last 12 months, we've done barely about 190 odd crores of execution, the whole of 20 and 21 first quarter included. So are these orders likely to go ahead? We'll have to cancel them, or what do you think is going to happen to the existing mining order book?
No, actually, see, to be frank, earlier, basically, some of the contract we have given on a completely, some of the subcontract basis, that has been taken over and the execution has been started. Even we are seeing that now every quarter on quarter, basically, we will see again the mining, because as we are telling that we are coming back to the normal level of the 10 crore a day execution. So that also we are considering this mining will also come up. And we have already made the arrangement in such a way that now we are coming towards the almost 75 to 80% of the targeted achievement. Now we are through since last 1.5 to 2 months actually. And going forward, we are expecting to achieve at least 100% above basically on the basically execution front of the mining requirement. So obviously over the next and the contractual period which is there, it is a longer contractual period. In two projects are almost around say 6 years contract are there. So that's why it is basically having some little bit slow pace actually.
So could we look at 300-400 crores of annual execution in 22? Or lower?
See, in FY22 we can see almost around say between 250 to 300 crore we can come back. Right.
Right. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parikshit Kandpal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So Nitin, my question was that after the merger of SIPL and SEL happens, so what could be the standalone margins then?
If I do the EPC business, as I have mentioned, almost around say around 12% we'll be able to achieve, and particularly in O&M business, basically our margin level is little bit high. So if you see the O&M, we will be able to achieve almost around 18 to 20% of the EBITDA so far as O&M is concerned. So mix of the same, definitely the margin level, because we are expecting at least around say on an average, because from the HAM as well as the other projects and this 4,000 crore of the infra, basically the order which is there. So I'll put together minimum 300 to 300 between 300 to 325 crore of the average turnover, and with say almost around 18 to 20% of the EBITDA. Which will be added into the merged entity along with the SEL normal EPC business.
What is the total bid submitted as of now and just still to be opened?
Yeah, Parikshit, that is basically we have submitted 2 road EPC projects worth rupees 1,652 crores, for which the bids have been submitted and which are yet to be opened up. And there is one project in metro segment worth rupees 470 crores, where the bid is yet to be opened up. So put together around 2,100 crores.
So, but if you have to get some 3,000 to 4,000 crores for the rest of the year, so that means the bid sizes have to go up significantly. The bidding has to be ramped up significantly. So
yes, Parikshit, like currently we are working on basically almost around 9 projects for bidding. Almost the working is completed at our end. So, and then after also the team has been basically asked to basically look after the other bidding which is coming in the pipeline. So that way we are now completely geared up so far as the new bidding. You might have seen basically even the last bidding also, the 4 projects what we have submitted the bid. Even the bids are yet to be opened. When the let it be opened, there then you can see basically how the Sadbhav is planning to work out that, right?
Great. And the last question, the promoter declassifications, if you can comment on that.
Can you repeat, please?
Promoter group declassification to public shareholding. So if you can comment on that. So any comments on that?
No. See, in the promoter group, it is there actually. So no change into basically the shareholding. Okay. Obviously, the Vishnu holding is basically now controlled by the Sachin Bhai and his mother. Okay. And basically, on the contrary, one thing I would like to put it here that the promoter has basically now in a process to completely basically release the entire shareholding which is under the pledge within at least I can say within a maximum within 3 months, this entire holding will get a pledge, all of the pledge will get released by the promoters. So that action they have already taken, and now every month on month we will see this basically movement.
That's a great development, sir. I mean, if we become so, the intention is that this pledging will not come back now. So when it's completely removed, so we will not be having any pledges on the stock by the promoters in the near future.
Absolutely. So it has been completely decided. The action has already been taken now, and basically now it is just a process. Rest of the things has been lined up now.
Okay. Okay, sir. That's great, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Siddharth Shah from MK Ventures. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. So just a follow-up question on the 3 projects which we are retaining. So can you give a small update on the Maharashtra border check post, as well as what is the resolution we are planning for Rohtak Panipat and Rohtak Hisar?
Yes, see, for Maharashtra border check post, right now, obviously we are in the process of getting the toll collection started for the 5 checkposts, because we have received the PCOD in those 5 checkposts. So we are hopeful that the toll collection should start somewhere basically in the month of October. So obviously, because that will add say around probably 17 to 18 crores of revenue, 18 lakhs of revenue per day. So I think that's a sizable number basically when the toll collection start in the 5 checkposts. On the 2 assets, Rohtak Panipat and Rohtak Hisar, obviously in the Rohtak Panipat, as we have mentioned that the arbitration process has already been started, and so obviously that is the solution what we are looking out basically in Rohtak Panipat, because obviously there is a good merit which we see in terms of the submission what we have made to NHAI, and we are hopeful that probably there will be a compensation which will be received by Rohtak Panipat, and which will solve the debt problem in that particular SPV. In Rohtak Hisar, the plan is obviously we are like working with the lenders, so we are discussing with the lenders, and probably let us see exactly what proper solution can be made in that particular SPV. But yeah, basically we are working on the debt resolution for both the SPVs, Rohtak Panipat and Rohtak Hisar.
Sure. And the last question is on SIPL standalone order book of 4,000. You just mentioned that the O&M margins are 18 to 20%, right?
Right.
Okay. Thanks, man. That's it to me, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from IDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello. I have one question, sir. So what is the status of EPC execution in the Mumbai Nagpur Expressway? Is it 100% now?
Actually, the execution has been now started post the lockdown, and now basically every quarter on quarter, obviously there will be basically the contribution from this project also, so far as the top line is concerned.
What the kind of run rate we are looking at, let's say in the third quarter from this particular project?
See, on an average, we can say that the almost around 100 crore or basically 100 to 150 crore in Q3 may come up, and in Q4 little bit it will go up further, because when we reach to the basically the further top layer and the other activities will be moved up. So this is we can basically as of now we can say for a couple of quarters.
Understood, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. We would request the participants to please press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Amber Singhania from Asian Market Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Just one small question is that on this 4,000 crore of order book for SIPL for O&M, this is how long it will be? This is for how many years, and annually what kind of revenue we can book from this?
Yeah, but this is over a span of next 15 years, and the revenue will actually depend on probably which year basically we can get the major maintenance. Because in the year where there's a major maintenance, the revenue can go up to 400 crores, and in the year where the major maintenance is not there, or say probably it is lesser, So then the revenue should be around 100 crores. So on an average, basically 4,000 divided by 15. So I think on an average around 270 to 75 crores should be the revenue.
Okay, fine. That's all from me, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Hello.
Yes, thank you very much to all the basically participants for taking your valuable time. Obviously, we basically from the company side can basically say that the quarter was not obviously of the mark because of the COVID situation, as well as basically the things have not basically taken up till the June. Obviously, things have ramped up as we have mentioned, and now basically we are coming to the basically position that from October onwards we will be able to achieve that is the most important point basically which we would like to convey. Apart from the business, how we are looking forward, basically how the new orders has been taken and the further what is the plan. So all put together, we are again thankful to all the participants. Thank you very much. And thank you to Asian Market Securities for organizing this call also. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitin Bhai. On behalf of Asian Market Securities, we thank everyone and special thanks to the management for giving us the opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of Asian Market Securities, that concludes today's conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.